Yep, I'm here. I'm here. I wanted to jump up here for a little bit, just have a little old rant, a little old discussion, okay? That's really what this is about. You know, I don't know how many people get this, but people have their own personal lives. And, I see, noticed amongst the TFL community, TFLers, and, your men going your own way, the fraudulent TFLers that are hiding and scared and ashamed of a name they didn't cause, okay? Because the majority of Big Total is TFLers in denial. They just don't want to accept the name, that's all. They're scared of a name, you know. They've had their ass handed to them, they've had their butt kicked by a name. That's right. It's really what it comes down to. But I want to address this a little bit because, like with Steve Hoka, myself, see, I'm not always up here. I've walked away from doing videos for a while before. I still come up because I want to come up when I do come up. And I do it because I care, because I have a heart, because I actually do care. That's why I do it. But you got some people out here that are actually, I don't know if they have a psychological tick, a psychological problem, or what they have. Okay, but I know this. See, when it comes to people like Steve Hoka and you people, the one thing I've noticed, if Steve was to come up live online and do a live stream as I just did right now, within a matter of 5 minutes, he's got 20 people in there. Just like that. It's like you just all sitting there waiting and you see Steve's alive, you go running around on your own. That you got nothing better to do, you don't got a life of your own. I mean, you're just on the computer around the clock and that's all you have is your computer. And you watch and you watch and the minute the little notification comes in that Steve Hoka went live, you all scramble and haul ass over there, okay? I've witnessed this, I've seen this myself. It's actually pretty pathetic if you ask me, okay? But. And then I noticed certain people get mad because Steve don't show up or Steve don't do this or I can understand the people who said, well, but he said he'd do this and this in return for donations. Now that's Steve's thing there, okay, because I don't ask for donations. I'm not saying Steve don't have a right to ask for donations for his time at all. I'm not going to say that. Okay, but at the same time, you have to understand, see, Steve Hoka, like myself, we have our own personal life. Steve Hoka, unlike me, doesn't have some of the health issues I have that's forced me to not be able to work. I worked my entire life, and I've only not been working for a couple of years now, and it's about driving me nuts. It really is. So I have free time that I really don't want. I'd rather be working because that's what I've done my whole life was work, 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 work. Even when I come up and did TFL, I worked 8, 10 hour days and I'd come home and jump up here and do my thing. Okay? That's what I did. I'd come up here and I'd make a video and I'd upload that thing and that's what I did. And I'd spend time researching and on my days off. I spent hours researching things, and then I'd make a video, you know. So there was always in between researching and that. And when I wasn't doing that, I was with my son, and I was doing things in my personal life. But I stayed busy because I couldn't stand sitting around doing nothing. My whole life's been that way. I could not stand sitting around doing nothing. Okay? Now I've been forced into a situation where I can't do a lot without having chest pain. Okay? Without having issues. So that's the reason. I mean, there's good reason I'm not working no more. There's actually really good reason. And I know one day I should probably quit smoking, but I probably never will. I'll take it to the grave. I've been doing it my whole life. Okay? That's just the way it is. I also know one day I won't be here no more. You know, so I'll be gone. I'll be history. I'll be over there on the other side, or whatever you want to call it. You know, that place you go when you're no longer around. When your body says adios, goodbye, amigo. That's where I'll be, yep. And I know that's coming one day too. And it don't scare me. Never has, probably never will. It's one of these things that when I speak up on political end, it's because this is where TFL came from. When I speak up the wrongs in society, it's because I actually care about people. And I'm not fraudulent and I'm not fake and I don't get entertainment out of this because it's not entertainment. Like in my last rant against the people who are up here that just think this is all entertainment. They don't realize the reason history keeps replaying itself is because of themselves. You know, last night I was sitting here. I did a live stream with Jerry, only about 15 minutes worth or so, and then I cut it off. And I went over and watched a debate with Zachary Hubbard. Now, it wasn't a debate because this Chris Darcy guy is, 3 sheets in the wind, gone. There was no debate. Zach was very professional. Zachary Hubbard was very professional. And it would have been probably a pretty good debate if the guy that was supposed to be debating him had any brains. But the guy that was supposed to be debating him just obviously was out there. He didn't have much he didn't have no common sense. There was no common sense in this man whatsoever. And this guy wouldn't let Zach get a word in edgewise without just talking right over the top of him. How would you ever have a debate with somebody that will talk over the top of you every time you speak? You wouldn't. So he was very unprofessional, I mean, Zach asked him a question, he wouldn't answer the question, wouldn't answer it. He kept asking Zach question after question after question. Zach would answer the question, answer the question, answer the question. Then when it came to him, no. He would dodge the question, dodge the question, dodge the question, dodge the question, dodge the question. Later on the show, when Zach finally, he took more than I could ever take. When Zach started unloading on him, Zach nailed him down to answer a question, and the guy couldn't answer the question. Got another question. Guy couldn't answer it. Guy couldn't answer it. And then he started going back to his old thing about Zach couldn't get a word edgewise. It was all him again, all him again. And the guy proved one thing, that he's a complete clown. So yeah, I posted a video up on this crap earlier this morning. But here I am now. I want to talk a little bit about TFL. I'm going to talk a little bit about everything. How's that? And, you know, and I really don't care what people think. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk a little bit about everything. Okay, but I want to address the Steve Hoax situation right now because Steve actually cares. Steve overall is a very honest man. He comes up here and tells you things he wouldn't even have to tell you. He's not obligated to help any of you people. And so for you TFLers that feel, though, he's obligated, no, he's not. He's not obligated to do a thing. The only time he's obligated is when he asks for donations and says, if you give, then I will do this. To the people who are giving him their money, then he is obligated to do something for them people because he's taking their money. That's his business, his thing. But if Steve wants to take a break and walk away and not be here for a couple of months, it's his prerogative. He's not. He don't owe any TFLer to be here for you to listen to him rant, to listen to him talk. He don't know that to any of you. He does it because he wants to do it. It's no different than myself. I do it because I want to do it. I do it from my heart because I actually care. I'm not obligated, no more than he is. He has a personal life like I have my whole life, and he works to make his living just like everybody else does. Okay, to make their living, except for those people who are not working. I'm not working by choice. I often wonder how many people are, because I've seen this my whole life. Young people that really don't have too much wrong with them at all, that have weaseled the system into getting SSI, disability, because they're lazy. Because they're lazy. Quote unquote lazy. Don't want to work. And maybe they feel that the world owes them a living when the world don't. It's no different than the female mentality thinks to gender roles for the females, and of course it don't apply 100% to all females. Nothing ever does. Like what I'm saying now doesn't apply 100% to all men, and nothing ever does. This applies to the people doing it. So when I'm talking about the females, and I say like the females, it's about the females that are doing it. It's not about every single female. That have fallen for the gender role BS, that are out there on a work site and believes that their money from their job belongs to them to spend on their wants, and that the guy's money is to take care of them, to pay the bills. You have people like this. Okay? And it's just wrong because they're no different than anything else. There's no guy that owes her a living whatsoever. If she's working and she was with me, she's going to be paying half the bills. If she's not paying half the bills or expenses coming into the home, then she's not here no more. Bye. Don't let the door, never mind. Do let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. Because I'm not going to support you. I absolutely refuse to. I'm not an ATM machine for you. I'll never be your ATM machine, so you can hang that up. I don't fall into the social engineering. I'm above that. I see above that. I do one-to-one as you want done onto somebody else, and overall, I'm a pretty nice guy. And I do practice what I preach. I don't shit on anybody, won't shit on anybody unless they're the ones that's first shitting. Okay? But I also don't play games. Also, everything isn't a game, a sport, an arena, a challenge, a competition, a comedy. There's things that are real in life that you need to take seriously and real. And when you don't take these things seriously and real, that are seriously and real, you are one of the reasons society's in the shape it's in. You are one of the reasons that we have all the corruption. You are one of the reasons that this shit goes on. Whether it's the powers that be, the Freemasons, they get by with what they do because we do nothing about it. End of story. Some of us just don't care and want to think it's all entertainment. But they're not going to be thinking it's entertainment as they replay history again, because that's what they're doing. The day's going to come that they're going to crash your freaking society, and they're going to be freaking coming through people's doors and doing things, and you most likely are going to wind up in a situation where either a bomb goes off in your city or foreign troops are in your city going home to home, and you're going to wind up in a lot of deep shit. This history replays itself. then of course you won't be laughing. Then of course you will be upset and wanting somebody to do something about it. But the only thing you need to remember at that point in time, if you're around when this happens, is to go look in the mirror. Just think of your mirror and image yourself, because you are the reason they're in your home to begin with. Because you got your rocks out of entertainment. Because you turned your back, or it was all entertainment, or you just plainly didn't care. Because you had the mentality so many people have: never happened to me, never happened to me. You know, it's no different than the mentality I see about people criticizing Steve for his age or me for my age. Okay? I laugh at you young guys that think that it's funny laughing at somebody that's older. Oh, you're old. Oh, yeah, you're old. Like somehow you're not going to be. Well, maybe you won't be. Maybe the powers that be will get into another freaking big ass third world war, and we'll be in blah blah blah, and troops be on the sheet, and they'll street, and they'll come in your home, and they'll blow the top of your head off. So maybe you want to worry about getting old. But barring all that, if none of that ever happens, at least in my lifetime, or for another 40 years, right? That means you're going to get old. That's right. And the older you get, the faster time goes. Believe it or not. It really does. You'll be just getting out of Christmas, and next thing you know, it's Christmas again. You'll be going, what the hell? Where did this year go? That's how it goes as you get older. And the next thing you know, you're going to be older just like I am sitting here right now. And you're going to wonder, what the hell happened to the years? And then you're going to have the young 20-something-year-olds calling you names, making fun of you, doing unto you what you was doing unto them. As you most likely won't appreciate it. Okay? And you're going to be a little bit like, this is BS. Have they grown up? No. That's the epic failure of mankind. I don't know how many of you get that, but the ability to grow up is something that mankind has failed to do since the beginning of mankind. I laugh at adults who tell their children to grow the hell up, because the majority of all adults that ever say that hasn't grown up themselves. Oh, they convince themselves they have by a number. Well, that number, that age you are, doesn't qualify you as an adult. This is why you failed to grow up. Because you know what a true adult is? I'll tell you what a true adult is. A true adult is somebody that understands that we will never always agree with each other. There's no such thing as two people who ever agree straight across the board. Whether it's man, man, woman, woman, or woman and man. It does not matter. Nobody ever agrees 100% across the board. In today's society, I watched people at each other's throat ready to kill each other because they had a disagreement and they didn't know how to agree to disagree. So they want to tear each other's throat out. They go into domestic violence. They beat the crap out of each other because his opinion ain't the same as his opinion. Epic failure to be able to grow up. That's the epic failure of growing up. See, the definition of an adult is you learn how to agree to disagree. You learn how to work next to somebody all day long that you may not like or disagree with or what have you, and be able to be business related, work together. You don't got to go home with that person. You don't got to hang out with that person. But you also don't criticize them, cut them down, call them names because they don't believe in what you believe in. Religion's a really good one for that. Religion is division. That's what religion is. It's division. All the way. That's what it creates. You got all these fools out here from different religions who get into arguments with each other. No, it says this. No, the book says this. No, it means that. No, it means this. No, it means that. And they'll get madder and yell at each other, and they'll fight each other. And we've even had religious people go to wars against other religious people over beliefs. And you know what's ironically funny about that? Is there's not one religion on the face of this earth that any of you people can concretely back up at all. Don't matter what you tell me, you can't back up what's said to you. The one thing that I do know for fact is that there is life after death. I know this for fact by my own life experiences. But does it mean that I believe in the good book? Let's use a little common sense when it comes to the good book, the Bible. Everybody says we're in a war of evil versus good, evil versus good. I can agree that we literally have evil versus good. I can totally agree with that because it's true. And then they say that evil is running our world. I would totally agree with that too. From what I've seen going on and happening, definitely evil is running our world. But there's a problem here. You claim that book, that good book, that Bible is good. Why would evil, when it's in control of our world, allow something that's really good to be in all of the motels across the United States? It wouldn't. Evil would be out to destroy good, to get rid of good, wouldn't want the people knowing anything about good. But then again, on the other hand, if the Bible was a written script to begin with, by the powers to be, you'd all be going right down that rabbit hole, wouldn't you? Sure would be. You know, it's just like I said before, I got another eggshell for you here. You know, Adam and Eve, you know, when I was a little child and I was going to church, because when I was a little kid, I was made to go to church every Sunday and I had to go to Sunday school. That's right, when I was a little kid. And in Sunday school, you know what I was taught? I was taught Adam and Eve. I was taught that, that Adam was the first man on the face of the earth. That God created the earth in 2 days or whatever it was, okay? Then he created the animals. After he created the earth and the sun and all that stuff and the trees and the plants and blah, 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 he created the animals and put the animals on the earth. And then the last thing he did is he created a human being, the very first human being on the face of the earth. This is what I was taught. And his name was Adam. But then Adam only had the company of the animals and was lonely. Okay? He had plenty to eat because all the fruit trees and everything was around him, so he could eat off the fruit trees and so on. And so then Adam was lonely, so God came back down and ripped a rib out of him and took one of his ribs and created Eve, a mate, a partner, a female. This is the BS that I was handed, okay? Yes, I just called it BS. Because there's a big problem with that theory. What if Adam was Chinese and Eve was Chinese? Then where did I come from? What if Adam was a black man and Eve was a black woman? Where did I come from? Do you follow what I'm telling you? No, absolutely not. That just tells you right there, if you really stop and think about that, it's a lie. There's no way in hell. Plus the fact that if Adam was the only man on earth and Eve was the only woman on earth, that means he had to get her pregnant. She had to bear a child. Now, mom and dad's child, and mom and dad had to bear another child, and they had to have one of each gender, which means brother and sister were having fun together for sister to get pregnant. So then, don't that mean the entire planet would be the same family? See, this is where people don't do critical thinking skills to figure this out. Common sense. Common sense. If Adam was the only person on the face of the earth and Eve was the only person, and they were the only two humans on the face of the earth because God just created the planet, this means every single human being alive now is the offspring of Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve's son and daughter. Then their son and daughter, then their son and daughter, then their son and daughter, then their son and daughter. So it's just one big incest party, huh? No. See, so the lie is in your face. You just gotta be able to critically think about it to figure it out. This is why I don't bite into this stuff. Do I know there's something after death? Yes, I do. I know it for a fact. But I can't prove what it is. But this is also why religion, there's nobody that can concretely prove anything. I don't give a shit who you are, where you're from, what religion you are. You cannot concretely prove nothing. I'm more liable to believe it's a written script. Then, of course, the other thing, the other BS that they gave you was the fact that God had his son, Jesus, and Virgin Mary, who gave birth to God's son. God impregnated Mary and had her son, Jesus, right? It was in the cradle, right? And you had to follow the star to get to Jesus, okay, in Bethlehem. Yep, that's right. Okay. So we had that little story too. Okay. But there's a problem with that too. I'll tell you what the problem is. So we, the people, all of us incest people, that came from Adam and Eve, that came from the same family. Okay. So now that means one of the family members somewhere down the line from Adam and Eve, God came down and said, "Hi, Mary, and think you're pregnant." And Mary had his son. So now Mary had God's son, Jesus. And then what did we do? We the people, the family members of Adam and Eve, the one big family, what did we do? We killed our Creator's son. We nailed him to a cross. That's right. And now because of that, we had to be forgiven for our sins. Okay, but don't worry, the good book will not lie to you because we would never change God's words. That's right, we wouldn't change our Creator's words. No, we would never do that. We might kill our Creator's child that's still a family member. Well, of course he's a family member. Because if Adam and Eve were the first two people on the face of the earth, that means they had to, to get Eve pregnant, she had a baby, and then she had to have another baby so to be one of his gender. And then sister and brother had to do each other to have another baby and for the cycle to go on because they were the only two humans on the face of the earth. And you know dang well that every one of us in this chat room are brothers and sisters, cousins and cousins and brothers and sisters and cousins and cousins. And we're all the same family. But then how could that be? Because the powers of be go by bloodline. Even the presidents of the United States of Nazi Germany, I mean, this messed up country we're in, right? All bloodline. And the powers of be, and we're talking about family members of bloodlines, but wouldn't that bloodline still be our bloodline? How could that not be our bloodline? Because after all, Adam and Eve were the first two people on the whole face of the earth. There was no other humans here because God created the planet new. Yeah. And then he created the animals. Now do you see why I said BS! Gigantic BS alert! It only takes, hold on here. Hold on here. Hey, I'm doing good. I'm in the middle of a live stream. So I'll tell you what. Let me finish the live stream. By the way, this is Warren. Just so you know, okay, for you people who said I threw him under the bus. Yep. Let me get off my live stream. I'll call you back in a bit, Warren, okay? Okay. Yes, sir, that was Warren, so you know. That was the guy that Rubber Wilbur tried to say I threw under the bus. Yep. You know, you trolls, you liars. Who don't know the first thing about me or my life, that doesn't walk in my shoes, okay? Like you don't walk in Steve Hoka's shoes. You're not with Steve Hoke every moment of the day to know what he's doing and how he's acting, how he's treating other people. No more than you are me. You're making assumptions. And your foots are hanging out of your big mouth, and you're looking like the fools you are. You know, it's no more different than you people who have obsessions with Steve Oka, okay? And you have to fly over his channel, and then you have to fly over somebody else's channel. You have to tell Steve you're his friend, you like him, you agree with him, and then you go to somebody else's channel and you tell him, I hate that guy, and I'm blah, 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 blah. Because you're fake, you're a fraud, you are the reason this world's in the shape it's in. You are part of the problem. You sure are. You're allowing history to replay itself again. So don't tell me how we've grown up and we've advanced. The only thing that's advanced is technology, but humans ain't advanced at all. Because you keep repeating history over, then over, then over, then over. It's sort of like your mama taught you to look both ways before crossing the street. So you count your toes one time and got run over. The next time you counted your fingers when you got run over. You got lucky and didn't die at the time, so you went ahead and washed the street and counted the leaves on a tree while you got run over. That's right. Then pretty soon you're counting cars on the other side of the road when you got run over. Do you follow what I'm saying? You haven't progressed. Are you kidding me? There ain't nobody that's progressed with time. You failed to grow up. You keep letting history replay itself. You didn't learn nothing from your history. But then again, on the other hand, well, what's history? It's been skewed and lied, hasn't it? I guarantee you, if I'm over in Germany, if I'm over in Ireland, if I'm in Russia, if I'm in Mexico, if I'm in Canada, and I went to school there, and I could take one kid of the same age and have just enough kids for one for each culture in our world, for every country, and put them kids in one school in every country, and even maybe we'll go it this way. How we do it this way? We'll take 3 kids in America. We'll put one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast, and one in the middle. We'll go to Germany. We'll take 3 kids. We'll put one here, one there, one there. We'll do that worldwide, okay? And then we're going to go ahead and bring home what these kids are being taught in history in their countries. What do you want to bet the history will clash? What do you want to bet one country's teaching this and another country's teaching that? And even in America, the West Coast or the East Coast or the middle of the country is teaching something a little different, and that the stories won't match. Want to put some money on it? What do you want to bet they won't last? I'll bet you they won't. I'll bet you won't be able to put the stories together. and have them match each other at all. You'll have children over in this country learning this in history. Okay, here's a good example for you. Did the bombs really go off in Japan? Did we really drop the bombs on Japan to end the war? I think it'd be interesting if we could bring the children back and see what they're taught. I'll bet you might get a real good eye-opener to how much you've been lied to. So everything's to question because the lies are nonstop. Literally nonstop. What are you going to do? Literally, what are you going to do about that? What can you do about that? I mean, come on, 50 years, 75 years from now, all the little children are going to learn a bunch of kids died in freaking Newtown, Connecticut. And they're going to learn that planes flew into trade centers. And anybody with a one lick of common sense in their head knows them are all lies. So their history is going to teach them these lies. You don't see a problem with that? I do. I always have. It's a lie. It's like the propaganda that the media pushes on you every day. It's a lie. You grow up believing in lies that have been fed to you. What does that get you? Where does that really get you? Get you down the rabbit hole is where it gets you. Because when somebody comes along and tells you the actual truth, you want to fight with them and argue with them because you want to believe the lie. You know, it's sick. It's disgusting. It's outrageously disgusting and sick. But what do we do about it, see? I'll tell you what you're going to do about it. You're going to do the same thing you've always done. Not a damn thing. The epic failure of man's ability to grow up one more time. See, I can give you example after example of how you have failed to grow up. That number you call an age doesn't qualify you as a grown-up. If you were qualified as an adult, a grown-up, you wouldn't need a military. The only reason you need a military is because of your inability to grow up. Not because you're going to go into the Marines or into the Army and become a man. No, you're going to be brainwashed and become the perfect patsy, the perfect pawn, the perfect sucker. That's what you're going to be. Grow up? Hell no. That's the epic failure of mankind. Because if you was growing up, you would recognize that you don't need a military. You can say, what I do to defend myself, what? Against your inability to grow up? Because that's the only thing you'd ever need a military for. Is your inability to grow up. Because see, a true grown up knows how to agree to disagree, allow somebody else their own opinion, allow somebody else their own belief, and work together for the good of mankind and go on with their life and hang around like-minded people who feel the same way, who also allow other people their own belief, their own thoughts. We don't want that. We want to control other people, don't we? Epic failure ability to grow up one more time. You got to control somebody else because they won't be able to control themselves, so they need another human being to control them. But yet that human being ain't even able to control themselves. It's pathetic. Okay, it really is. There's not a lot I can say about stuff like this other than what it is what it is, people. So, I got not too much I'm going to say about things like this other than to tell you that mankind's ability to grow up, the epic failure. I've showed you all the examples that prove that you have not grown up, okay, without a reasonable doubt. And that's why you see the behaviors you see here online. This is why you can see somebody, oh, TFL is dead. Yeah, TFL's died out, man. Yep, TFL's going down. They're going down because they're dying. No, TFL is all over the world, still alive and quite healthy, still kicking. Nothing's changed. Just another dumb thing somebody's saying out their mouth, that's all. Just more dumbness. Okay? Why do we have to have TFL? Why do we have to have men going their own way? Why do we have to have MRA? Why do we have to have feminists? Why do we have to have all these problems amongst human beings? Because once again, they fell for the lies. They fail to grow up. That's right, they fail to grow up. Do I feel sorry for young men who can't get a female in their life and try and try and try? Of course I do. But then at the same time, when you really dig into it and look close at what's going on, we have all of us to blame. You allow a handful of people to dictate what you do, tell you what you can and can't do. I mean, I was just telling you how high you can jump, what color to shit today and what color not to shit. The whole 9 yards. That's what they're doing. You may say no, they're not, but yes, they are. They're controlling you. You know, when you look at control freaks, you have them from the very top clear to the bottom, man. The lowest walks of people, there's always somebody wanting to tell somebody else what they can and can't do. What they're supposed to feel, how they're supposed to think. They're supposed to think with their own high mind in the jar. You shouldn't feel this way. You shouldn't feel that way. You're supposed to feel this way. You're supposed to feel that way. Doing away with individuality, okay? The ability to not be able to grow up one more time. That's all you got. The failure to grow up. See, true adults, true grown-ups don't have these issues because they're not telling somebody else what to do, how to think and how to feel. They're allowing that person to be themselves. And they accept them for who they are. Didn't say you had to hang with them. Didn't say you had to be their buddy. Didn't say you had to marry her. Didn't have to be with her. Nobody ever said anything like that. Now, did they? No. But that's where this comes from. So, see, it's really a matter of people using critical thinking skills, which most people don't possess. This is why the debate between Zachary Hubbard and the clown, Chris, whatever you call him, okay, is just what he is, a clown. He was a joke. That was not a debate. Zach tried to make it a debate. Zach was very professionally spoken and tried to make it a debate, tried to be fair about it. Zach did his best. But this Chris guy is so dumb. So stupid. He couldn't debate anybody because he's too stupid to debate anybody. What can I say? So it turned the entire thing into a fiasco, is what it did. You know, and it wasn't Zach's doings. Not at all. It's one major reason that debate with Zach Hubbard went wrong last night. Chris. He was the entire problem. He's an idiot, what can I say? But he's a product of today's society, isn't he? He sure is. The dumbing down has worked. It literally has worked. And some of this comes with ego again, people flying on ego. Yep, flying high on their ego, man. Yeah, my ego, man. I'm going to be above somebody else. I'm better than somebody else. I'm smarter than somebody else. It's that mentality again. It's that mentality that somehow you're smarter and better than some other human being. And that mentality actually makes you pretty sick. And once again, the failure to grow the hell up. That's what it comes down to. Now, I know I'm not popular with what I'm saying right now amongst people. I can tell this by how often my chat's going. Okay? Some of what I'm saying really isn't too popular with you, but hey, it's the truth. And if the truth hurts, I can't help you any. Because the only reason the truth is hurting you is because you've been deceiving yourselves. You obviously don't want truth. You want to be lied to. So that you can get mad at somebody for lying to you so you can have your new thing called love, drama. That's right. That way you can kill each other, right? And you can allow history to replay itself. That's where it comes. Yeah, truth to me, that's right. But when you look at history and it replays itself, and you say it's only truth to me, it's funny how at least what I say can be backed up over and over again. It's funny how history keeps replaying itself, huh? It's funny how Nazi Germany moved to America. Because you can say that's not so and it's only truth to me all you want. Where do you think NASA came from? Oh, never mind. You probably don't know anything about Operation Paperclip, which was truth. See, they put so much truth in your face and they put propaganda in your face, but most of you don't understand that. It's not an accident that we have a handful of people running the world and they keep doing the same things all over and over and over. But then I guess it's our sisters and brothers, huh, guys? Because after all, if I go with what I was taught in Sunday school as a kid, that means Adam and Eve were the first and only humans on the face of the earth. And they're the reason that populated the earth. So I don't know how the Chinese got here, I don't know how all these different cultures got here and different skin colors got here and so on and so on. Because we all are family members, right? We're the offsprings of Adam and Eve, right? Right? See, that's why I said what I said about how big of a lie that was. That's what we do. That's what our world does, is lie. And I know I'm not too popular here today, but hey, I said what the truth is. And you can say it's the truth to me all you want. But if you haven't opened your eyes and looked, then maybe the truth to me is only the truth to me because you're not looking or because you refuse to believe it. For whatever reason, but that's all right because you become part of the problem then. If you're not willing to go look for yourself and you're willing to turn your back or you're willing to try to manipulate the words and call that your truth, when history replays itself again, you find yourself in the middle of deep shit, I don't feel sorry for you. You can look in the mirror and remember you're the reason you're getting by with it. Well, yeah, but if you turn off what reality is, they're staying insane and say the sheep are the problem. But if you say my truth is only my truth and not somebody else's truth, and my truth happens to be backable, that's gone on throughout history over and over and over again, can be backed up, but you take that out of context, you would still be a sheep with yourself. Okay, that's what that comes down to. So then when you want to say sheepo, you got to really think about that. Think about that hard. If it can concretely be proven to happen over and over and over again, and the evidence is there to support that, but you deny that and say that's their truth and not mine, but then you're going to call somebody else a sheeple while that's not your truth when it's everybody's truth, then you become a sheeple. What can I say? That's all I can say. You become exactly what you call somebody else. Because how do you dispute that? You know? And, you know, they have the Illuminati, which is still our family members. If you go with what was taught to me in Sunday school. Now, of course, you was probably taught something different, right? Because isn't that how it works? We teach somebody else something different? But if I was to go with the lies that was fed to me when I was a kid and I was here before you, I wonder what somebody who was here before me was taught. Do you follow what I'm saying? Do you see how even our history is being lied to? The one thing we do know that has happened is the wars. But the reason for the wars, what really happened in the wars, one thing for sure is we keep repeating it. That we can concretely approve, okay? Without a doubt, that can be concretely backed up, that we keep repeating it. But don't you realize it's because of all the lies? Yeah, it's because of the propaganda and the lies. That's why, you know. But I guess I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I'll give Warren a call back and go on with my day. But I just wanted to come up and have a little rant this morning, so that's what I did. But that, guys, I'm going to get the heck out of here. Hey, have a good one.